Hey guys, Alyssa for Python here. Welcome back to Ghost Story. When I read the second story, let me read about Was It Real? A word from the author. Hello, interrupted reader. Thank you again for reading Bedtime. I really do hope you enjoy it. I receive many emails, private messages, and Facebook posts every week from readers, and I make sure that I read every single one. It has become apparent that many of these revolve around one question. Was it real? Did this story actually happen? Some may feel that in exploring this question it breaks the illusion, but I have been concerned by one of those messages. Some would seem to take the story to face value, while making readers feel the. Hello? Thanks. Sorry about that, guys. My aunt was take my shoes upstairs in case she needs some space from downstairs. Anyway, what was I? Oh yeah. While making readers feel the reality of a story. Its characters and events is the true aim of every writer. I feel that sharing the truth behind Bedtime may serve three purposes. Number one, it will make answers queries, I think it says queries, I don't know, a little bit easier by cutting down on replying to the same question. Number two, it will hopefully act as a word of caution to those who think the story is literally real. And number three, it may be of some interest to you as I find it interested in myself. Where do I begin? The first two chapters are based on experiences I had as a child. The strange, elongated room exists. The bed shook at night. Asleep on the top bunk, and I could hear someone moving around underneath me. Each night, the shaking would grow in intensity when I made it clear I was awake. Almost all the events were ones which I experienced, including my mother being away and that night waking up to a terrifying creature in my bed, sticking out to the wall. I did indeed move into another room in the house and continued to have a number of strange experiences, some of which I shared this story and others I did not. Where fact ends and fiction begins, we did not move. In fact, my parents still live in that same house. I wanted something to end the story with, and the words "they" lasted 10 days. We moved on the 11th. Just seemed to fall onto the page. I still shudder when I think of it, but I am trained in the science and hold everything in doubt. Seeing is not believing. To me, I am perfectly willing to accept more mundane explanations such as sleep paralysis and or another form of sleep disorder. That being said, the events are so real, so lucid, so profound that the memories still hold dread for me. I then asked two questions of myself. What what if it was real? And what if it came back? That served the rest of the story, which is entirely fictional, although there is some element of truth in there, a feeling of foreboding which left me with many sleepless nights, following on from finally breaking my silence about those events. I hope this answers the question of is it real? Thank you everyone for reading and enjoying my stories. I hope to share my sleepless nights with you, an unfortunate byproduct of when I write. Take care and keep reading, Mike. P.S. Shameless self-permission. Okay, that's for that. Yeah. So let me just sorry about that, guys. There's it off, but hold on. Let me check to make sure that my video saved. It did save. It did save. Just a bit caution. Okay. Agree. And let's go to this. Oh, why you? Look, I turn the volume off. Wait, it's just this.
And authors.
Yeah.
Read or listen to the key ideas from popular books on productivity in just 15 minutes. Plus over 6,000.
I'm just gonna. Sorry about that, guys. Now, if my sister heard this, she might wet the bed. Just beware. Yeah. How's my mic doing? Sorry, guys, just checking my mic cover because it's been ripped because I lost it this afternoon. Hunting in Mexico. Well, I've never been out there, so here we go. My story begins with the time I was 5 or 6, I believe. My very first encounter with the paranormal began with my mom, dad, brother, and me. We're visiting some family in Mexico, and we were staying in this house we used to own down there. Now, a little background of the town before I begin. Supposedly, the entire town was a battlefield type of location. Running through the town was a path that all the soldiers used to get to a concerned location. Some people hear the sounds of what seems to be horses and men yelling, giving orders, and whatnot. My grandmother lives right next door to a house which she say contains all of that paranormal activity, including hearing military men on horses and seeing them as well. Back in that time, there was a lot of deaths because of the battles that were carried out. Any person that was killed was buried right there and then wherever they were killed. So it is said that the entire town is like a cemetery because none of the bodies have ever been removed from the ground. Okay, that's terrifying. Why am I reading this? Also, at that time, there were many people who would bury any type of money or fortune that they may have had for fear of it being confiscated. So many of the houses in the town have money underneath them. In the house that we lived, there used to live a lady and her little son. Now we were told from the very beginning by the person who sold them the house that there was money buried there. Wherever the money belonged to the lady, we weren't really sure. But I know for a fact that this lady that used to live there was the spirit I came in contact with as a child. I found all of this history out when I was 16, so I had no knowledge of anything that may have gone on when I was young. I remember we had just gotten into the house. It had been a while since we had visited, and it had been the second day that we were in Mexico. My parents were cleaning the rooms we were going to be staying in, and they decided that we'll all stay in their room for the night. The next morning, it must have been about 7 a.m., I woke up with the sound of footsteps in the room. Now I was awake, but I kept my eyes closed, thinking it was my mom. Weird thing about all this was that the footsteps seemed to be walking around the bed constantly. I finally sat up, and I could hear those footsteps, but there was no body. I knew that the footsteps were circling the bed, and I would follow them like I knew someone was there. I knew their exact location. Every now and then the footsteps would stop right on the side of the bed where I was, as if whatever it was observing me. Then they would continue. I was younger at that time, and for some reason I wasn't scared. I didn't feel like it was threatening in any way. But I did tell my dad the next morning. He thought it was someone on the roof trying to get in. I told him I was sure that it was coming from inside the room. I told him that I was following the footstep, but he brushed it off. Also, when I was 16, it must have been 3 years before our last visit, and my aunt was living in that house. She said that when I walked in, on the wall in the dining room, there was a big letter, the name Letty. Those letters seemed to have been carved into the wall somehow. She didn't think of it much until she started painting the room. She was painting it over when she said her paintbrush flew out of her hand and hit the wall behind her. It was then that this sound started to interest me. I asked one of my aunts if she knew anything about the house, and she told me about the lady and her son, and how they have been seen at my house. I know this is long and I apologize, but I felt that this was the beginning of all of the things I have experienced throughout my life. If you believe me or not, that's really up to you, but I ask that you have some respect, as I will do the same for you. Angel or God or man God? Wait. Uh, wait, what? Uh, I gotta leave it here. I was confused. What? Yeah. Oh, it says best real ghost horror stories. Ah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave it here for now, guys. Sorry. So I'm gonna check my videos to make sure I did finish the reading of Mike's. If not, then I don't know. I should check. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Comment down below. Do you think you find it horrifying about the Mexican soldiers were buried in the ground? Oh God. Let me know and comment down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and hit the bell notification on if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.